All right, thank you so much for staying with Citizen TV, and you're just in time for the State of the Nation discussion where we talk about politics and all matters in between. Let me introduce my guest one more time. Dr. Alfred Mutua, Governor for Machakos, is already here. Thanks for making time. Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, Majority Whip and Senator for Kiambu, is also here. Honorable Samson Cherargei, Senator for Nandi, is here, and Honorable Jared Okello, Member of Parliament for Nyando, will be joining us online. Let's bring up the Daily Nation front page. Let's start with the newspaper review, see what they're saying. There's a lot on the dailies today, and we'll touch on all those matters. At the top side, there's the all systems go for election like no other. Front page, Kabisa is Raila gain, Ruto loss, and then we'll talk about the Lumi lockdown in the other counties. That's on the lower side there. But let's start off with the headline: Raila gain, Ruto loss. Voting patterns. That's on the Daily Nation. In the past two presidential elections, President Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto relied on the Mount Kenya region and Rift Valley blocks to beat Mr. Odinga. But they say that the widening rift between leaders representing the eastern and western slopes of the mountain could hurt Ruto more than Raila. Cherargei, do you agree with this?
Good morning, and thank you for having us back after a short recess. Last week when we went for the budget, I want to say it's again very good to be back. Two things, of course, newspapers would want to sell, and of course if you don't have the name Ruto, you might make huge losses. And every time newspapers write, you must of course include William, which is of course is good for us because our candidate is doing very well. Number two is that, you know, us who believe in the presidency of Dr. William Ruto after President Uhuru Kenyatta finishes his term, is that we want to discuss Kenya as one indivisible nation, a country that is not based on voting blocks or lines. Our message on the bottom-up approach economics is based on solidifying a clarion call where every vote matters. And that is why we say, even everybody says every vote matters. Every vote might count. And you remember even Donald Trump, when he was fighting to hang on for his presidency, the other time, when elections were being held in the US, that every vote matters.
Yeah.
So from where I sit, I think it is not an issue. Of course, you had Kabando yesterday in JK Life, although the show ended prematurely, or it ended, I don't know whether it ended prematurely. He described Mount Kenya politics, both east and west, as a very complex science, and he said that that there is a way that the Mount Kenya votes and they will never disagree on the basics. So from where I sit, I don't I'm not worried, and I'm looking at the future, that we shouldn't as a country be discussing how regions should vote in 2022, because the dynamics will change. You know, every season, normally dynamics change at every given point. Yeah. So whether this one perceived, and you know one interesting thing, Raila Odinga has never said he's running for presidency. Yeah. I am yet to see a clip or in any forum. So the only person I've heard is running for presidency is Dr. William Ruto, and maybe Governor Mutua, because I've been seeing him in whirlwind of tours around Mount Kenya region. So I would also expect him to see him in Turkana one of these fine days. Yeah. But that is beside the point. But I want to assure you that it is least of our worries. Our engagement at the moment to who support for Dr. William Ruto across the board will not be based on these two regions of Rift Valley and central Kenya. Let us have a position. We are trying to engage, and you saw even in May, he had a meeting with coastal leaders where they develop an agenda. Okay. He have been having meeting with Mount Kenya leaders, Rift Valley. We met the other day in Nairobi, and many other, even Nyanza professionals, we have met them. So let us as a country don't try to create ethnic cocoons where they are saying we perceive these ones to be voting in certain direction. Yeah. And I hope all the presidential candidates should not be too trivial to be saying that because you come from this region or that region, there is a voting pattern that is, but I think the correct person to talk about Mount Kenya politics is Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, who comes from that region. Okay. But I've been in Kiambaa finally, and by-elections campaigns for our candidate John Njuguna Wanjiku, and I have interacted with people in Kiambaa, and I can assure you the support of Dr. William Ruto is very tight, and we are headed for better days for this country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wamatangi, should we simply bury our heads in the sand and pretend that we don't vote along ethnic lines? And is there a rift in the Mount Kenya region? Because we know there's a faction that seems to be supporting the Speaker Muturi, and another one seems to be supporting Kiraitu Murungi. Is there a rift in the Mount Kenya region?
Yes, Trevor. Let me begin by wishing you a good morning first,
yes,
and our viewers. And also expressing the same comments that Cheragei has also expressed, because I didn't know that we all missed, other than our president here. I didn't know
took
that
a short recess.
I didn't know that we missed the show, all of us.
Yeah.
And at least he represented the presidential side well.
Yes,
I'm sure. Anyway, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
I was also out on official business out of the country, so I was not able to attend. But I tried to follow a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I think when we are away, you'll be facilitating us to participate in the debate online.
Virtually.
Trevor, first, I want to probably disappoint those who have been very active in trying to sell this narrative that there is an imminent division or rift, as has been termed in the dailies in the Mount Kenya region. And remember, just backpedaling a bit, remember this started when Speaker Muturi went for his coronation.
Yes.
And then a team of other members of the community who are in leadership gathered somewhere and seemed to have taken the view that they want to respond to that process. And in my view,
yeah,
one, is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with any person from that region expressing their ambition to want to be president. There's nothing wrong with that. And I absolutely don't agree that Speaker Muturi is wrong just in expressing that ambition that he wants to be president.
Yeah.
That is what I would want to tell my son, that when he grows up, he can also claim a stake in that chance and opportunity to be president. And all the others, even the ones who came later, that team of governors who also claimed, I believe each one of them is moving to the fore because they have an ambition.
Yeah.
The spirit and fire burns inside them. And so to that extent, all is well. But then immediately after that, this narrative was created that now, because Muturi happens to hail from Embu, and he was accompanied by Kiraitu and the others, then that this now seems to be implying that this other side has been locked out.
Yeah.
I would want to urge our people within Mount Kenya region that this is a trap we should not fall into at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would also want to say to my very good friend, Speaker Justin Muturi, that even as he continues to express his intentions and will, that he should do so calculatively. And because supposing even he was then to express that intention and continue with it, he would need everybody within the region, not only where he hails from, if you call it East.
Yeah.
If anyone else would be having the same ambition from the so-called Mount Kenya West, and we have never termed ourselves with those terms, I'm just referring to them in quotes, we have always been the Mount Kenya region. They would also need the people from the other side.
Yeah.
We have always worked as one people. And there is no one time when we have either discussed, disagreed, or plotted, or even voted separately. This time it won't happen either. I would just want to say to those who think that they can benefit from that kind of scenario, that it is not going to happen. We will sit down as leaders of Mount Kenya region. Indeed, we are having an initiative whereby we will be joining and moving to the various sub-regions within that region and bring people together, all of us, the cabinet secretaries, senators, governors, all of us will have a discussion. And as I said here earlier, Trevor, our main thing is this. Can we have our own internal housekeeping as a region such that when we get to the table of discussion and negotiations about how our country should look like in the future, then we will have one voice that represents our people. It would be very, very disheartening if anyone was to, go to that kind of thinking, thinking maybe that they were going to benefit, even if they're from Mount Kenya region. So I want to urge all our aspirants, me being one of them. And remember, I said with my colleague here that we are going to be also plotting on how we'll get to the stage and launch and announce. But once we do that, that does not mean that we are wishing anyone else bad, or we'll be saying that we want the votes from Kiambu or from Mount Kenya West or whatever. We want to run one for president of the Republic of Kenya. That will be, and I believe that's what Dr. Mutua here is doing. And that's why he's been traversing the entire country. He was just telling me that he'll be in Nairobi now to, meet the people of Nairobi. He'll be headed to Mombasa. That's what we are going to do. Anyone who has presidential ambitions, and that is right to do so.
Governor Mutua, you are actually in this central Kenya region. What was the purpose of that trip, and what do you make of this headline? Is there a widening rift in the Mount Kenya region, and there's a perception here that it will benefit one candidate over the other?
You know, you cannot win an election by sitting in Nairobi or in Machakos or in Kiambu. You have to go out and meet the people. And I'm putting my networks of my Maendeleo Chap Party. You know, these other parties are crumbling as we look at them. And this country needs a party of ideology. So I've been meeting my key leaders in the different regions. And so at least I have experience of what is going on the ground, because I started in Kiambu, spent some time in Kiambu. I went to Embu, and then I went to Kirinyaga. I was in Nyeri and Murang'a. So I've listened to the people. I've listened to the leaders who are representing the people. You know, let me just say that you have to give Dr. William Ruto credit. He has managed to do what Moi never managed to do, and that was to fracture the Mount Kenya region. He has come and really, in his own way, expounded on the divide and rule concept. Moi tried for a long time to divide the Mount Kenya region. It was not successful. But William Ruto has managed to come into Mount Kenya region from outside Mount Kenya region and actually fracture them. So they are not one unit as they used to be. I don't know whether it's a strategy or whether it's just the kind of man he is, where he goes, he fractures, you know, maybe just the way he works. When I listen to the people of Mount Kenya people have not made up their mind. There is a big support of William Ruto on the ground of Mount Kenya. Let's not delude ourselves. He's very, very supportive. The latest polls that we've done ourselves show that William Ruto is the most popular candidate in Mount Kenya, followed by myself, Alfred Mutua, and then others go down there. But the gap is big. I mean, I'm not close to William Ruto because he's been on the ground for a long time. He's traversed the region, you know, and the trick he used to do, you know, we were joking the other day, when the president was overseas, he would go to Harambee and say, nimetumwa na rais, mimi nimewaletea yangu milioni 2 na rais amewapatia 300,000 yake amenisindikiza 500. So he kept on doing that. And it made the president look like he was absent from the region. And he was heavily campaigning on that region, trying to ride on Uhuru Kenyatta's, you know, likability and the strength of that region. Now, what they are calling the East and West. I met Kiraito the other day. I was in Meru also last week. And Kiraito was also a bit surprised, I believe, by the coronation of Muturi. Nobody seemed to have known. This is something that was organized. And they, from talking to them and talking to the leaders of Mount Kenya, they believe that this organization of Speaker Muturi, who I respect very much, to go to the forest and all this, is actually is a technique put together by William Ruto. He's working for William Ruto. That's what they're telling me on the ground. So it's another idea to fracture. Now, when there was an attack against Muturi doing what he did, the people of Embu, for example, looked inward and said, wait a minute, huyu ni mtoto wetu, mbona mnampiga? And so I had some of my leaders saying, Kwani, what is wrong with somebody from Meru going there? I had Kiraito tell me, what is wrong? We have supported the Kikuyu side for a long time. Why can't they also support us? So it's something that is still brewing. I had a conversation with Madam Waiguru, and even her feelings were that, wait a minute, who decides? The question is, who decides? So from what I heard when I was in Nyeri yesterday, people felt that Muturi never consulted. There's no problem. They don't have a problem with Muturi and others. They just feel like Muturi came out and announced himself, as was said. And then, you know, there has to be a process that was used. So I'm seeing that, as my fellow colleague here and running mate in the future has said, that we need to, the Mount Kenya people need to get their act together and put it together. As I finish, so I don't see much of a division. It's just a bit of confusion here and there, fracturing from within, and it's a wake-up call to the Mount Kenya people, because they have been in power for a very long time. So that's what I can say. Before I finish, I'd like to pass my condolences to the family of Chris Kirubi and Jacob Midiwo, two prominent people in our country, people that I've known personally. They have been close to me in many venues. I've worked with Chris Kirubi, who was a very big supporter of Mwai Kibaki. Jacob Midiwo, his restaurant here that we know we go and eat fish. I was with him there just last week. So, and others who have passed away, and may the Lord rest their souls in eternal peace. We'll miss them. They're good people, and my condolences to their families.
Can I say something? I think governor needs to be honest with Kenyans. You heard Kabando yesterday, that JB Muturi is a close friend of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. And in fact, in the submissions that it is on record on JKL, and you can retrieve this, he did say that the planning of coronation of JB Muturi points finger to the imaginations of President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to succeed himself. So when Governor Mutua relies on hearsay, and I've said something here before, and I remember Kimani Wamatangi on the issue of postponing elections, saying it is rumors. It is unfortunate that Governor Mutunga wants to bring rumors from the villages to allege that Dr. William Ruto he wants to fracture Mount Kenya region by pushing for coronation of JB Muturi. Dr. William Ruto does not come from that region. He doesn't understand the cultural dynamics. So let matter rest as was submitted by Kabando, who is a member from that region. And therefore, we are aware that President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to succeed himself. This could be part of his strategy. But I want to believe that Mount Kenya region, and we rely heavily on Dr. Kimani Wamatangi because he comes from that region, that let there be, let them handle their issues. And I think one thing that we had yesterday, and Kimani Wamatangi has been submitting here, is that Mount Kenya region knows how they will handle their issues, and they know who they will elect. They will give them the support when the time comes. So we others from the regions, we are just curious onlookers. Why would you want to give an authority where we are not?
Let me bring in Jared on this so that we move on to the next stories. There's quite a number of things we need to talk about. Jared, what do you think of these conversations around Raila's gain and Ruto's loss?
Well, I thank you very much, Trevor. Firstly, good morning, and good morning to my friends in studio, my friend Dr. Alfred Mutua, my friend Wamatangi, and the indomitable Nandi Senator, my neighbor Cherargei. Firstly, allow me to take the cue from my brother, Honorable Mutua, to also pass my condolences to the families of Jacob Midiwo and Chris Kirubi. Such a profound loss to their families, and we pray that God will rest their souls in eternal peace. Trevor, first things first, Raila gaining is a testament that he has been a bastion of democracy, not just now, dating back from the year 2007, 2013, and 2017. So Kenyans have been very consistent with him, his ideals, manifesto from his ODM party, and his alignment towards perpetuation of democratic ideals within the Republic of Kenya. And Deputy President Ruto, I do not know when he gained, because this is the first time he's going to run to be president of the Republic of Kenya. And history will vindicate me that no one has ever tried the very first time since the year 1992 and won. I mean, you have to give it several jabs. You have to employ several trials and give it to him. He's going to have a very strong first attempt, but there is absolutely no likelihood of his win at this point in time. And therefore, when media houses say Raila gains and Ruto loses, as if Ruto has always had his backyard of monumental value that he's now losing, he will start to gain or lose after the next elections, where we are going to now really put him on a scale, vet his degree of support within the Republic of Kenya, and therefore move forward with his politics. But again, Trevor, this has been going on for a number of days now. I think 3-4 days. With the president's declaration of his willingness to support a candidate from the NASA outfit, even though NASA isn't active now, but all the NASA leaders are present, and they all have presidential ambitions on their own capacities. And this statement, where I know Dr. Alfred Mutua stands a better chance because it was in State House, but again, State House hasn't come out to refute that claim. So I believe it is something that was said either directly or metaphorically, but that is a message that is out there. So we hope that with all this, the president gravitating towards the NASA outfit, Gideon Moi, the chairman of KANU, gravitating towards the NASA outfit as well. It is a huge boost, and this emboldens our politics, and therefore throwing Dr. William Ruto to the back burner. But that is where he belongs. I mean, he can't win in 2022. I don't know about 2027, 2032, but this is already given. He's lost it. So if he's gaining, then he's gaining nothing. If he's losing, yes, he's never had any base, Trevor. Okay,
now that you brought us to the next topic, actually, you know, Kalonzo says that he will never really be Raila's running mate, never again. And you've spoken about the old NASA equation. Does this throw the spanner in the works when Kalonzo says he is not going to be Raila's running mate again?
Well, preceding 2017 elections, Kalonzo made almost a similar sentiment that he wasn't ready to work with Raila Odinga again. But that election, he became Raila Odinga's running mate once again. So political statements, you know, 14 months to the next elections do not hold much water. But again, they have a very strong history of working together. During the KANU days when Prime Minister joined KANU as the Secretary General, Kalonzo, I think, was the organizing secretary. They have worked together in the Grand Coalition government. They have been, you know, presidential candidates as a duo, 2013, 2017. So they have a very long history and personal relationship. And therefore, it will be too early in the day to start discounting that kind of relationship with pronouncements coming at this early stage of our politics. But again, you also have to remember that Kalonzo Musyoka has also nurtured presidential ambitions for way too long. And therefore, it could be a way of upscaling his stake by saying, I will not do it again. But of course, given a chance, he will do it again. But it's also a way of, you know, putting you on a higher pedestal in terms of, you know, giving out slots in the government to be. So those statements are very good. I mean, it takes you into the, therefore, optics, but they do not necessarily mean that he will not. He can, and probably he will.
Governor Mutua, you were the one in State House. Was there any given point where the president said he will support one of the NASA chiefs?
I like the way you said it. You are the one in State House. You know, it's good. You know, I'll be. Okay. Let me give the genesis of what happened according to how I perceive it and the way I saw it. I was sitting there. Charity Ngilo, Governor Charity Ngilo, spoke at length about the importance of unity of leaders as we go into the next elections. See, this thing of different leaders all wanting to run for elections, all doing this thing is not helpful. Let us have leaders who can work together to a common end. And I'll be speaking about that later on today when I tour Nairobi. I'll take the train, go to Embakasi Pipeline, talk to Ananchi, and, you know, and do have a press conference. I'll talk about that fascination about elections just being a few people and these things that I talk about. So when the president spoke, he took a cue from that. And the president said, you know, a time has come for us as politicians to learn to work together. And he said, now look, for example, I'm happy to see Wiper next to Chap Chap and NAC sitting together to discuss development.
Yeah.
Because you've put aside your political ambitions and you've come to State House to discuss development of our people. Why can't you do this also when it comes to politics? You know, and he said, directed to Kalonzo, he said, Kalonzo, why don't you tell your One Kenya people, the group you are meeting, the others, you get together. He never even mentioned the word NASA. You know, you get together with like-minded politicians, and even Mutua here, invite him, you know, and work with him, work with everybody, so that now you work together as you look for your political positioning. That is what the president basically said. In other words, said even add everyone, because anybody can be a presidential candidate. That's what I had.
Yeah.
That's what I had. And just like Kalonzo says, the president never said, actually, I will support a NASA person. What he was saying is that the time has come for all of us as politicians to learn to collaborate. It doesn't have to be war and push and pull all the time. Because the president, I've had sessions with him, and every time we talk about politics, other things, what I've seen worries him so much is this push and pull. Yeah. What we're seeing in the newspapers that is perpetuated by the media and others all the time. Push and pull, it's either or. Yeah. You know, and I want to say at this particular time is that some of these leaders who think that they're the ones who will inherit this country are in for a shock. Some of us are young, we have support in the country, we are coming up, people are looking for a third choice, and they'll be in for a shock, because Kenyans are getting fed up, and they're already fed up with all these machinations that we are seeing all the time. So in a nutshell, that's what the president said. Yeah. It might be taken. People may take it to feel like he was talking about the NASA brigade. But the fact that he said even add Mutua, you know, invite Mutua, because he can be part of your team, means that you can draw from everybody. Yeah. That's what I believe the president said.
But if that is what he said, then Kalonzo essentially is going directly opposite from that, because he's already now declared that he can never be Raila's running mate. In fact, he said that he'd be the most stupid person if he was to do it again.
But I think that is, Kalonzo is responding to the media stories of what he said, because in the same story, Kalonzo says the president never said that he's going to whatever. And then he says, I will not. He is responding to media and the way the spin was done. There was a spinning was done. Yeah. Spinning ilifanywa. Take advantage of that State House visit to get an agenda out. I agree with my good friend Honorable Okello very clearly that Kalonzo's views are neither here nor there. You know. I mean, if you have followed Kalonzo's political history in this country, you don't take seriously his position, because it will probably change tomorrow, according to the newspapers, according to what changes. He doesn't have a concrete stand, and it is neither here nor there. It's all about scoring points today, but not for sustaining. So I agree with Honorable Okello that we don't know what the future beholds. So I just don't take seriously what Kalonzo says. Okay.
Well, but
can I say something?
You know, Cherargei, the deputy president also responded to this. In fact, he says, "Out chungai gafafa mwadhani." So what happens to the Turakus, the Kumira contingent, the 8 million of us? None. No youth, no woman, no man of the 8 million who woke up early and voted 3 times for UK and WSR ticket merit support. Sawa tu, tutajipanga na support ya Mungu. This was a tweet from the deputy president. I'm reading verbatim.
Before I respond to that, is that I watched, and our condolences, of course, to the Kalembe Ndile family. I watched Governor Mutua speaking, Kalonzo Musyoka speaking in the funeral, and I'm happy Governor Mutua was brave enough to face, because you could see there was a concerted effort to edge him out of that meeting. But well said and done. I think what Governor Mutua is not telling us is what the in-camera meetings, because we don't have any other witness here who can tell us what really happened. But those are issues that Governor Mutua and Kalonzo can resolve. But I think they need to agree that Kalonzo, of course, has some level of support in Ukambani politics. When I've been watching keenly, I remember we went to the funeral of former Machako Senator Kabaka, and Governor Mutua was gracious enough to host us then. But I think those are issues. But of course, the history of Kalonzo, as Governor Mutua said, is we don't know what he will say today. So let us always be updated with what he says, because he doesn't have a concrete stand. But I think those are things you can host Kalonzo and ask him about. On the issue of tweet is that the consistency of President Uhuru Kenyatta, he said in the funeral of Mudavadi that it's not only about 1-2 tribes leading this country. And you know, it was a shocker for the country. Because as the president, and I want to urge the presidential candidates on the other side, that when you become the president, it is a symbol of national unity. What we have seen, the consistency of President Uhuru Kenyatta has shown an intention to create ethnic bastions. You remember the 3 governors, Governor Joho, Governor Kingi, Governor Mvurya. The reason they have been forming regional bloc parties is because they have been trooping to State House. President Uhuru has been meeting tribal cocoons and kingpins. The other day it was Ukambani. The other time it was Luo leaders, where even the couriers and the Kisis were not invited, yet they are part of the larger Nyanza.
The deputy president has not been meeting the same people?
No, it's not even, that is why I'm saying the president needs to be the symbol of national unity. And that is what we are just saying. Number 3 is that he has indicated before, and you have heard the Muradhes of this world, that their agenda was to bring down Jubilee. They were to destroy Jubilee. And you know, I think it is Moses Kuria, the Katundu South Member of Parliament, that gave history that when Uhuru Kenyatta was the leader of opposition, he left opposition to join government. And it is not news that now he's leaving government to join opposition and become the chief campaigner of opposition who wants to ascend to presidency. So the point I'm trying to make is that the tweet of the deputy president was based on the informed choice that there has been consistency by His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta to point in a different direction, forgetting that there are many people. The build-up of Jubilee, the build-up on the future of Jubilee as a party, and then, because now Jubilee is an empty shell. Now even they have quite a number of members. I don't know what Senator Kimani Wamatangi is whipping in the Senate, because they are no longer Jubilee members. So at this point, and even when you go here to Kiambaa, you saw Juja polls, you saw Ruriri ward, you saw London ward. You are now Kiambaa, you will see another surprise. That will be the funeral of Jubilee Party in Kiambaa. So what I'm just saying in a nutshell is that the fact that the deputy president tweeted was just an expression of any supporter, because the deputy president and all of us who campaign not only once, twice, thrice for President Uhuru Kenyatta has always believed that as a party leader, even in ODM, even in Chap-Chap, you build your party. When time comes for Governor Mutua to exit, he will not come and tell somebody from UDA, can you come and take over the Chap-Chap? You build the capacity of your party into the future. And that was the essence of Jubilee Party. And that is why when we realized that the Jubilee Party had been hijacked by political cordmen or any other people wanted to destroy, we had to form another political party by the name called UDA. So in short, it is a surprise that, and now the confusion we are seeing between Okoa Kenya Alliance, the now ODM, I would have wished my brother Governor Mutua would go it alone. He should be careful, because there is confusion within one Kenya Alliance. The ODM, everybody is saying we need to be endorsed. Even in Mount Kenya region where Senator Kimani Wamatangi, there are people who feel that they should also be endorsed by the president to become the presidential candidate. You have heard even Musalia Mudavadi, the fact that the president attended the funeral of his mother has become so personal that he believes that he should be endorsed by President Uhuru Kenyatta. So when you look at all these dynamics that points on it, it is that I wish even if the President Uhuru Kenyatta did not want to support William Ruto, for example, he should have even supported Kimani Wamatangi because he's a member of Jubilee, to show that Jubilee as a party that will always be consistent. Is it agenda going to the future? So I think I know Deputy President is somebody who you will always host him when you want, and he always speaks his mind. But of course, when Uhuru decides to be the chief campaigner of opposition leaders to presidency, we don't mind. It is his democratic right. But we want to request him one thing, that he should build on his legacy, number one. Number two, he should behave like President Kibaki, and I'm happy Governor Mutua, you served with him. He should just relax, stay back, allow the democracy to thrive, let somebody who wins be the one to win. And finally, he should be ready to hand over power when times comes from, just like the former president, President Moi, President Kibaki. When time comes, when we win and we go to State House, we will expect Kimani Wamatangi to be part of the people who arrange the proper and smooth transition of power.
All right, Wamatangi, I'll give you a chance to respond to this before I take a quick break.
You know, I was, maybe Cherage would need to explain whether it means that we would have to arrange properly for our own, you know,
ascension to power.
You know, they will be the state.
Rest, he sounds confused. But Trevor, you know, I was not in State House that day when Governor Mutua has espoused on what happened. And so I would be very limited in commenting authoritatively on what the president said. But there is what I can say with enough authority and conviction of person from what I know. And that is, it is time now for this country to embrace an approach whereby we no longer see people from an ethnic view at all, whoever they are. And that must be what we all intend to do. And I want to say to you know, all my good friends here, and especially Senator Cherage, it is important, it is very, very important that when we speak about whoever is running for president or the ambitions, that we should not at all refer to people because they come from that region, they have that affiliation, or they are either big or small, or they are bigger players. This field is open for every Kenyan to express their will that they want to run for president. And right now, Trevor, what's going to be happening is that right now you will see a lot of confusion because everybody right now expresses their ambition because that's what they want to be. Then realignments will come. People will find their, you know, places, as they say, water will find its level. And then you will find that this one finds that finally they can fit there, this one will fit there, and now you will have a more coherent lineup of who will be where. And so let's also correct the view that indeed the president, as per the Constitution, is supposed to be a symbol of national unity. But that does not mean that everybody else should not. You know, everybody else should be. You know, because then how do you have a country if you say that it is only the president who is the symbol of national unity and me and you and everyone else is not? I mean, we have to build one country. And I find it difficult that we will want to either placate or you'll talk any of the people who want to run for president, be it Kalonzo Musyoka, be it Governor Mutua, be it myself, be it who. Let those people shine. And in this game, don't be cheated by anyone. And you have seen from our past elections. Can I refer you to the election of the president in the year 2002? And all that business of front runners is put to paid if you look at what happened in 2002. There's nothing like this. This thing can go either way, and nobody should go and sleep and say that I'm sure I have bagged this thing. Can we promote, you know, the spirit that this is a competitive arena, that Kenyans want to be led by the best person, and what I would be urging Governor Mutua, even as he goes out, you know, throughout this country, is make sure that the message you are preaching on behalf of this presidential side is that we believe that anyone else can fit that bill, but we are only thinking that we can do better. And that's the same message I will go when I go, you know, preaching my own. But lastly, Trevor, between me and you, we would do a very big disfavor, especially us personally, if we do not pay a moment of personal tribute to the family of the late Jacob Mediwo. Because me and you have had very robust, intense debates with Jacob Mediwo.
That's true.
Yeah, for so long. And I believe that he is worth our honor as a man who has shaped the political opinion and thinking of this country and played a very, very major role. And in fact, I would be asking you that if his funeral may fall on a day when you'll be anchoring, take leave. let me and you go there and pay our final respects. That man is a man and a half. And you know, me and you know what kind of debater he was, and how passionate he was about proper leadership. The guy was never afraid or intimidated to say things the way they were. And having said that, let me also take you and also convey my condolences, because I was out, although I did in other ways, to also the family of the late Chris Kirubi. You know, he was a monumental shaper, an icon in entrepreneurship in this country. I believe he's mentored many. He mentored a good friend of mine. You know, he's a CEO. And you see, you know, how the young man has brought up the enterprise. If we had many more like that, I believe that we'd have a good country. Can I urge my good brother Cheragay to remember all the time that as you sit there, even as the deputy president goes around the country, and all of you, that you are still members of Jubilee Party. And the funeral of Jubilee Party will be pronounced by yourselves, all of you collectively, including us, in the year 2022. And let that remain clear. Within the campaigns and results of what will happen in Kiambaa, if that candidate, but by the way, I can assure you that the candidate will win. But even if he were to lose, you'd count it as your loss, as Jubilee. Yourself, so when you go there, campaign with all your might for the Jubilee candidate, knowing that that is the party you belong to, and everything else that you are doing is illegal.
Yes, that is a direct warning from the majority.
Of course, before Governor. But let me take a ride from what he said. That is very important for Kenyans to understand, and that is, we've been put into these tribal cocoons. Even you are saying he gets a lot of support from this tribe. You know, you are born a child of this country. You don't send a postcard saying you'll be born to a Kalenjin, a Luo, or this tribe. We need to get this out of the system. The good thing is that a majority of voters in the next election will be younger people who don't have this kasumba ukabila. And that's where some of us will benefit from. Because Kenyans are shifting. Because this ideology of tribalism, you see it in the newspapers, you see it everywhere, kingpins, is what is taking us behind. We want an ideology of how we're going to change our country. Who has the best ideas to benefit our country. And that is very, very important. You know, somebody even said that Obama, you know, he said, yes, we can. He won in the US, a black man. If Obama was a candidate in Kenya, the tribe would be block yako iko wapi ya Nyanza, uko na watu wangapi, umetoka wapi, what is your tribe? It didn't matter in the US, but in Kenya it would matter. So we need to get, it is a mental type of slavery that we were put into by the colonial powers that we need to free ourselves from so that we can be able to go forward. So it's very important for us to know that it's critical. That's so when I'm going around the country, I'm not talking about tribe, I'm talking to the people about how I'll be able to change their lives. And you'll see there's a wind of change blowing across this country. People are fed up with all these tribal cocoons and all these stories. People want a shift. They want something fresh, and that will come to be. Okay, I have to take a quick break, but you've been warned by the majority.
Of course, the party leader did whip me as the chair of JLAC, so his warning are insignificant at this point in time. Number two, finally, I have not seen Kimani Wamatangi in campaigns in Kiambaa by-elections. Because he knows they are losing. I didn't see him on Sunday when we met when the Karirin Jama.
I was out of the country.
No, even if he was out of, you didn't see him in Juja. Did you see Kimani Wamatangi in Juja? You didn't see him. You will not see him in Kiambaa because he knows our candidate John Juguna Wanjiku is winning. That's why he's avoiding embarrassment.
Which party
so that he will say.
Which party are you in?
No, so that he will say. Which party? No, so that he will say, you know, at that time I did not campaign because I knew we were losing. And you have seen his governor with the majority leader of the National Assembly have been clashing over who should campaign for the Jubilee Party candidate in Kiambaa. And since these people have sensed defeat, that is why you see they are now fighting on who should campaign for. But since Kimani Wamatangi is the senator of the area, I hope you will be gracious enough to continue appealing for the people of Kiambaa and Kiambu to be peaceful.
Yeah.
We want the by-election to be peaceful.
All right. I have to take a quick break here on Daybreak. When we come back, we talk about it's all systems go for the election like no other. IEBC says they are ready. They launched a strategic plan there. They're saying that they will have servers. Jared Okello, I'll start with you on this conversation right after the break as we also get your feedback on this.